Hello crafty friends, this is card number 26 in Full Deck Challenge 2. The prompts are bees, flowers. I have some fabric flowers that I might use in my project, and then for the bees I have these beautiful printables from Digital Collage Club. Little heart-shaped cutouts with sunflowers and bees, and I'll be using one of those as my focal point. All details for these printables are in the description box below, and there's a lovely discount if you use my links. Covering my card with some Mod Podge and a piece of white tissue paper as my base. If you're not new to this challenge, you'll know that I do this with all my cards. I like to fade out the face of the card as I don't want it too bold, and also it creates a good surface for you to add color and other items. I'm tearing off the excess tissue paper. I really like a rugged look for this card. You could also use a scissors if you like something neater. And then while I was doing this, I decided I want a second layer of tissue paper, as I felt that the background of the card was still too bold, and I also wanted to create some texture as I was going to add some color. To create the texture, I'm going to push the tissue paper with my fingers while the Mod Podge is still wet. This is with the second layer of tissue paper to create some wrinkles and creases on the surface, and then I'm going to add a layer of Mod Podge over this as well. Once that's nice and dry, I'm going to tear off this excess too. Now we've got 2 layers of torn edges, so it's extra rugged and with lots of texture. For adding color, I'm going to start with my watercolors. I get a lot of questions regarding this paint palette. I actually bought this over 5 years ago from AliExpress, and it was not really branded, but the name on the box was ShanoukiArt. So I'm not sure if that is still exists or if you're able to find it, but they really are beautiful paints. They've lasted really long and they have great colors. I'm starting with an orangey yellow, which would be for like the sunflower colors, and then I'm also doing a brown. These colors remind me of bees and honey. I never paint the color just flat onto the surface. I put quite a lot of paint on my paintbrush, and then I sort of dab it on the ends or the edges of the card, and then I add lots of water. I even spray water with my spray bottle, and I sort of move the card around and let the paint move and flow on its own. If you don't have watercolors, you could also use watered down acrylic paints or inks, anything that you have that is a liquid medium. I was finding that the brown wasn't quite dark enough, so I decided to then use one of my oxide inks for the brown section, just to give it more depth of color. The color I'm using is called Vintage Photo, and it's a Tim Holtz oxide ink. It's never too late to join in the Full Deck Challenge. This is deck number 2. I will put a link to both playlists for deck 1 and deck 2 in the description box below. You can start at any time, on any deck, and on any card. Very few rules. Just get out of your comfort zone and try new things. If you're on Facebook, you can find my group there. Just search Full Deck Challenge Group. I'm going to add a little bit of gold leaf just for some bling. I'm adding this with a glue stick. I just dab the glue stick just randomly on the face of the card, and then I press down pieces of the gold leaf, and then I rub them with my finger to get all the excess bits off, and the part that had the glue will stay behind. It gives it a beautiful rugged edge, and there's no definite edges on your gold leaf, and it gives a beautiful luster that will shine through. I have this die which is like a honeycomb, so I have die cut in a dark brown, just a piece of this which I think will look really good as part of the background. I'm going to leave the above and below a little bit longer than the card. I like it sticking out, and I'm going to put it to the left of my card. I'm now just choosing one of my little hearts that I'm going to cut out. I'm not quite sure yet which one I'm going to use. I don't want the background to be too dark, as it'll blend in the background. So I actually cut out a couple before I actually use a third option a little later in the video. I wanted just the colors to be perfect. I wanted the heart with the little bee to stick out as a focal point and not blend too much in the background. I'm now going to start working on and layering my focal point. So I have my heart-shaped little flower bee, and then I'm putting some flowers just in the background, and I'm just going to move this around multiple times and try different elements until I get something that is balanced for me and is good and pleasing to the eye. I'm liking the white flowers as it makes a good contrast between the yellows and browns that I'm using, but I'm finding it all a little bit too monotonous. So I'm going to add a piece of this script vintage style paper, and then I'm trying a different heart again just to see which one will look better. I would really love if you subscribed to my channel. I have lots of art journaling and junk journals and ephemera videos, and of course this is home of the Full Deck Challenge. When you subscribe, also click the little bell so you're notified every time I upload new content. I have distressed the edge of the heart with a little bit of ink just to make it stand out a bit more, and I'm also adding a piece of vellum as part of the layered embellishment behind my focal point. I found some little gold flowers in my stash and I'm liking the way those look, so I'm going to add those, and a little bit of greenery just to break the gold and brown color scheme that I have. I think that adds a little bit of pop and makes everything a bit more cohesive. Once I'm happy with the layout, I'm going to glue everything down. For this, I'm using a hot glue gun. I think the background is quite chunky, has lots of layers, and for me, the hot glue is best. You can use any kind of glue that you prefer. I'm going to use a small pearl type bead for the center of the bottom left gold flower. This is just to break the gold a little bit and to bring in a little bit more of the white and to also finish the flower off. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch my video. I really hope you enjoyed it and were inspired to create your own and to even maybe join my Full Deck Challenge. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.